Punch TV Addo from my mama have channel you so make sure say and then the first time I did her channel you and I just always subscribe and no like share we will so be our adventure our comment section or edit the Punch TV the about man 70 and just say them back and them for and say story be about social media and so I just say agent ye abusuan for mon come home my uncle story na embra ye buy the emunche mu na ebebrem
Akufo-Addo said Ghana yenye here mine. It's true. Yenye here mine. But we have people who have turned themselves into Draculas, drinking the blood and toil of Ghanaians. This is pure fact. The lady came to me, she was crying yesterday. Crying. She said, look, my life is at risk. She can't live in her house. They are threatening to kill her. A woman. Even now.
She's been laid off.
Yes. So you see, this is the weight of cleanup that John Mahama has to do. And that is why you cannot entertain such thievery and such corruption under the next Mahama administration. We would out and fight anybody. Look, and President Mahama has a track record when it comes to fighting corruption. You may accuse his government of corruption. But President Mahama had, and I worked under that administration, he had a sunshine campaign. And you see, I'm sure that today, many of our civil society friends have seen the difference between President Mahama and Akufo-Addo. We call President Mahama corrupt because we're hearing of the corruption, because he was fighting it. President Mahama sacked Victoria Hammer because she had an intention. She was caught on tape with an intention of making $1 million. She didn't make it. An intention. He kicked her out of his government. President Mahama caused his bosom friend and colleague in parliament to be investigated and jailed for lack of oversight. Abu Gapele. Yes, Abu Gapele was not the one who signed the contract, but he was overseeing the agency that signed the contract. He was jailed. That's President Mahama. Meanwhile, they used Jida. As Lauso and Co, they sat on media houses and sang with Jida to kick us out of government. Meanwhile, it was President Mahama's investigation. When Brazil happened, President Mahama asked a revered judge of the Court of Appeal, who again, by the way, has been punished by the Akufo-Addo administration, Justice Senyo Jamefe, punished and overlooked for promotion, because they think that he is not going to play the partisan politicking that goes on at the apex court of our land.
He's the senior most.
They have jumped over him with several people. They've left him at the Court of Appeal. Justice Senyo Jamefe did a national investigation which was telecast on the Brazil scandal. Now, Mr. Free Ankara was moved out of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. When the bus branding issue happened, and it came out at Public Accounts Committee, President Mahama caused Julius Debra as Chief of Staff to retrieve the monies that were paid in excess to the company. That's President Mahama's track record. And caused the late Jifa Ativo to resign. That's his track record. He did not write her a letter calling her my dear Jifa Ativo. As you see, Akufo-Addo with Cecilia Dapa.
So the corruption happened, but then
he fought it. When we got wind, again, let me give you another example. When we got wind in the Flagstaff House that there was something fishy going on at National Service Secretariat, he asked the BNI to investigate it, including the director of National Service Secretariat, and 144 others were prosecuted under President Mahama. Monies were retrieved, people were sent to jail. What have you seen under President Akufo-Addo? The same National Service Secretariat. People are wearing $300,000 wristwatches, sitting there as public servants at National Service Secretariat. Richard Mill, $350,000 wristwatches. Why are they able to afford that? Because every month they have created 40,000 ghost names and are making 27.5 million Ghana cedis.
You're talking about the Fourth Estate
Absolutely. And what did you see President Akufo-Addo? Shield them. They actually went to court and got their cronies in the judiciary to look. We need a proper cleanup of this country, from the judiciary to the security services. President Mahama must purge the judiciary of partisanship. Those who sit in the high courts, in the Court of Appeal, and in the Supreme Court, who are playing partisan politics, must be taken off for them to either go and contest as national women organizers or national organizers of the NPP. They have no business in our judiciary. Today, the ordinary Ghanaian does not believe that the judiciary of Ghana can give them justice. And the judiciary is supposed to be the last bastion of hope for the ordinary Ghanaian. Our security services have become so partisan, that you've had to see the security services for the first time vote against their commander-in-chief. President Akufo-Addo lost in every polling station in Burma camp.
You have that data?
Oh, yes. All the results from Burma camp, except one. And there were about 33 polling stations there. They voted. Look, this vote is not just a vote against Bawumia, it's a referendum on Akufo-Addo's governance, of which Bawumia is part of.
Yes. Article 76.
You understand?
Part of the cabinet.
And so you can't run. That's why I said that, look, the burden on Mahama, you need to clean our civil service. Because you have people, this rot at Highways Authority. It's civil servants.
It's not politicians, essentially.
Look, you see, I've worked as a civil servant before. I worked at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations and the Ministry of Water Resources before I got into active politics. Yes. And I have a fair understanding. Some of the civil servants are the ones who actually lead the corruption into the hands of the ministers. Because they are making 27.5 million on the average every month from about 10 axle weight stations. They find some 1 million and go and give to the minister. He thinks he's excited. And he doesn't look at what is going on there.
That's all.
We need to clean this country. This country needs... Look, the young people of our country are angry. One, we need to clean. Two, we need to recover every single thing that has been stolen. Look, and those people who think that they are... And I can tell you on authority, I said this yesterday on another platform where I was with Honorable Andy Apiakubi. We know those who are moving money out of the country.
People are moving money out of the country.
Moving money to the Isle of Man. I'm stating locations. Isle of Man. To Mauritius. To the Canary Islands. To Guyana.
Hey, Guyana.
We know them, and they are moving money. Look, even last week, one of them called a remittance person and said, look, a person who does remittances, look, I need to move 5 million. How can you move it? US dollars. Yes. Look, you can't live to enjoy that money.
Operation Recover.
You will not enjoy that money. And I'm glad that, you see, people said they don't know what came over President Mahama when he came to my constituency during his nationwide tour. When he came to my constituency, that day, he dropped a lot of bombs. That's the day he told Bawumia he won't debate him because he knows his level. Yeah. That same day, for the first time, and that was the only time in 276 constituencies, President Mahama mentioned names of people who have questions to answer. Let your crew take the tape. He did 3 places in my constituency. He did Ningo, did Pram Pram, and Afia. Your crew was there. They should give you the clip from Pram Pram. You will hear President Mahama. He said, President Akufo-Addo, for 8 years, I have been a former president. I lived in Ghana. I didn't live outside the country. So if there was any prosecution or any questions you had to ask of me, I was here. Yeah. You will not go and live in the south of France.
Thank you. Thank you.
That mansion that has been built in the south of France will remain uninhabited. President Akufo-Addo must stay in Ghana to answer questions. President Mahama went ahead to mention Gabriel Tridaku as someone who needs to answer questions.
Absolutely.
Mention Ken Oforiatta as someone who needs to answer questions. Mention the one who suffered stroke in the UN. Yes. I said, take the clip from my constituency, Pram Pram, and play it. Let your production go to President Mahama's visit to Pram Pram, to my constituency. Not the first location in Ningo, the second place in Pram Pram. When it was raining, he mentioned the names. These people have questions, and not just them. Others will have questions to answer. You ask yourself, why today the board chairman of ECG, who doubles as the leader of the mini minority in parliament, is seeking to pay a company of almost 270 million Ghana cedis in this last minute?
Well, the information minister says works have been done and certain financial clearance has been given.
The rates are too high.
And so they have to honor the payments. It is not because there's been a change in government.
Those payments have been pending for months. They didn't pay. They want to pay today. Look, if you understand the level of graft and rot, that's why I said others have dipped their hands in the purse. This government has stolen the purse. And it must be a collective work across the nation, civil society, other political movements, and government. We must clean up our country. Because if we don't, and you know why I say I'm humbled?
Yeah.
The people of our country, the young people who went out to vote especially. And do you see the strength of the young people standing up to the military?
Yeah.
Standing up to police, looking them in the face and staring them down. Yeah. In fact, in one instance, a young man held 2 soldiers who were armed and beat them together.
Sam, can you give me a little second on the police? Alfred, just a quick one. You see, once you mentioned the police, there could have been some of the incidents that we witnessed. But on this occasion, I think Ghanaians must stand up to Dampare. the arrangement he made that the National Security Task Force for Election was not going to allow the military to step in except for his command.
Yeah.
And he insisted on that. And I'm also happy that the military high command cooperated with him.
Yes.
I am telling you that little bit of arrangement, because I had a lot of personal concern. And Dampare kept assuring us that, don't worry, we will do what we have promised. So if you mention the police, Dr. Dampare, Unia, why are they?
Except we also have many things.
So yes, he may have.
The police service is in turmoil.
This one, yes.
The service is in turmoil.
Let me land.
Very angry.
Okay.
Let me
Police
land.
officers are very angry.
We would need to get to that place where we understand that the young people of our country stared down the barrels of guns to defend this democracy. If the NDC, God forbid, touch wood, fail to meet the expectations of the young people, our democracy is threatened.
There will be serious problem.
And so the survival of our democracy, the survival of the Fourth Republic, rests heavy on the actions of John Dramani Mahama as president.
Absolutely.
And his appointees.
Yes.
No,
Else our people will lose hope.
Yes.
In this democratic exercise. And that is why we cannot chill. And let me state emphatically, because yesterday, whilst I was walking into the studios of another station, I met Dennis Miracles Abuaji.
Oh.
And we joked and we laughed. And people are trying to misconstrue that. Look, I keep telling people, vengeance is a dish best served ice cold. and like it said in Shakespeare's Macbeth, there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. So the fact that you see somebody smiling with somebody does not mean that, look, I am a victim of Ayaraso West Wagon.
Yeah.
I have been tagged over 100 times in the last 48 hours with people asking me to seek vengeance. My response is simple. Vengeance is of the Lord.
Yes.
But I am a son of the Lord. And sons inherit their father.
Hallelujah.
I leave it there.
Hallelujah.
Well, someone Ate George.
Praise the Lord.
It's Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. Thank you. Now, for example, he repeated something that consistently you have said, at least over the last 1 month that you have been here, that the survival of this Fourth Republic rests on the next 4 years of John Mahama. Looking at what we have seen now, and already we are hearing a language that we are used to when there is a change in government, that the purse is empty, that the meat has been eaten to the bone. How much of transparency do you expect of this administration to believe what they will tell you about what has been left of us as a country?
All right, so when I became the UTAC secretary, my constituents and people kept singing a lot of praises about me. And the reason was simple. I kept them informed about everything that I was doing. Every meeting that I attended, I told my executive committee, I briefed them, I briefed my members. Every issue that I went to discuss somewhere, I ensured that they were brought into the picture about whatever I was doing. And so some of the things you may consider trivial, but I made sure that they understood me and they knew everything that I was doing. As president of UTAC, I'm still doing the same. And so it is important that we learn, we manage the expectations of people very well by also letting them know the extent to which the system has been corrupted. Okay? So, as you rightly suggested, it is important that all of us are made to be informed or to get insider information about the transition process and arrangements that are going on, so that we get information right from the word go. It is the ability or the preparedness of the new administration to channel information out there to the public domain that would help them elicit the needed support of Ghanaians so that as they try to reset the country, there wouldn't be much disappointment, okay, in the psyche of the good people of Ghana. Okay, bring them up to speed about what is going on or how we have dissipated, our resources, how we have allowed corruption and looting to bring us almost to ground zero, and how we are now going to be rising again. Okay, so if we don't do this, then the expectations will still be high. It will be unfair for all Ghanaians to think that just tomorrow, all of a sudden, things are going to be changing. Okay, so it is important that we highlight this, the new government. So you are saying you don't need any, just a minister of information, but you need a ministry that would also be engaging the public. And I think it will be a proactive thing to do, to let Ghanaians appreciate that, look, it's been bad, and then resetting it, we will all have to be involved by offering our support so that the government would undertake the needed spade work that would help us, all of us, reset, the Ghana to where it is supposed to belong. Then from resetting it, then you can think about the next things that will have to be done to bring about development and improvement in the physical quality.
The Punch TV Addo from Mahama channel so make sure say and then the first time I do her channel and not just subscribe and share. We will so be our comment section or the Punch TV